All right, check one, check one. Oh, where's the sound? Check one, check one, check one. And check one, check one. Check one, check one. All right, cool. All right, so we up here, we lit. Let's go. So, what's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name's Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. And today we're going to be starting a new series on my channel, something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's going to be album reviews for mostly hip hop albums, but I don't know exactly where this playlist will go or where this series will go. Now, why am I doing this? Well, first and foremost, I love hip hop. It's always been a part of my life. It's my favorite music genre, and I wholeheartedly believe that hip hop is the greatest American art form. Secondly, I am a writer for another YouTube channel, which all of you should subscribe to. Check out their content. They're called Culturalist Theory. They're a channel where they rank artist catalogs in R&B and hip hop from worst to first, best to worst, best to last. You get what I'm saying? And so, I've been working with them for the past few months. I put the link to the playlist for all the videos that I wrote for them in the description of this video. So go check out the ones that I wrote, but also the other content that's out there too. I take that job very seriously, listening to albums front to back for many different artist catalogs and stuff like that. I spend hours mulling over the music, going deep into the history, doing as much research as I can on the artist to make sure that I'm able to write the best article that I can or the best piece that I can to go to places that other people wouldn't do. And I try my damnedest to make sure that my pen is sharp and that I'm coming correct, because I really do think that every artist that I've covered has created something unique and new in hip hop. And also the artists that I will cover in the future have contributed something to the game. So that's just what I wanted to say about that. Thirdly, the reason why I'm doing this album review series is because I think it's vitally important for the next generation to continue to put respect on hip hop's name. There are a lot of people out there, unfortunately, who hate on rap. They say that rap has caused detrimental things to the Black community, that rap promotes nothing but negative images of Black men and Black society and Black culture, which is absolutely not false. So it's important for all of us to continue to push back against those ideas from people who say that hip hop is a destructive force or that there's no merit to hip hop or anything like that. I think this is why I want to do this series. This is why I'm going to be talking about the albums, usually my first reaction after listening to an album. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So the artist that we're going to be covering for the first episode of my series of album reviews is MF Doom. Now, for people that don't know who MF Doom is, I don't know that much either, because I'm still doing my research about him. He's not somebody that I grew up listening to. Shout out to Ozzy for jumping in the chat. He said, ready to hear you drop knowledge. I'm just going to be building about this album that I listened to. We're going to be talking about MF Doom's Operation Doom. I recorded a video of this full review before turning on this live stream because I was just going to drop it on my channel, but I recorded about a 50-minute long video and the video did not save. So that's why I'm coming on this live stream to do this. So we're not going to be getting into politics. We're just going to be talking about the music here. Anyway, MF Doom is an artist from, actually he's from the UK, but he grew up in the US and he was living in New York in like the early 70s, 80s and stuff like that, got really deep into hip hop. I believe he was a part of some small group, but they didn't really break into the industry. They were very underground in the early 90s. And so then MF Doom, feeling rejected from the industry, went back underground, worked on his sound, worked on his craft, worked on his lyrics, and reemerged in the late 90s as a new character with a mask on. His identity would be hidden, and then he would terrorize the industry and become Lord of the Underground. And to this day, you have people that swear by MF Doom's name and his music, and they believe he is one of the greatest rappers of all time. Now, I'm from Louisiana, as you know, and in Louisiana or in the South, you know, MF Doom don't ride in the whip. He don't bump in the speakers. The first exposure I had to MF Doom's music was I had a cousin who lived in Texas, and my cousin was a bit of a nerd. And when I went to my aunt's house to go visit him with my family, this was like when I was 10 or 11 years old. I was dabbling into hip hop and stuff like that. He tried to put me on MF Doom, and I just couldn't get into it. And it was too odd, too abstract, too off kilter for somebody like me who was really listening to like Eminem, Nelly, Jay-Z, of course, Tupac. Tupac was my favorite rapper, sort of like my introduction to hip hop. The closest I got to like that underground sound, that deep, dark, dungy, lyrical sound, you know, where people emphasize more the lyrics than they do the beats. The closest I got to that was like Nas, of course, Jedi Mind Tricks. I was really into Jedi Mind Tricks. Cannabis was like my favorite rapper. A big Wu-Tang fan, and you know, basically a little bit of the above ground underground, not the deep hardcore stuff like Aesop Rock, Ill Bill, and MF Doom. That was just not my speed coming up in Louisiana. A few years ago, while I was living in Serbia, I downloaded Food, which is, I believe, MF Doom's second or third album. I'm not sure. Once again, I just started working on this project today, so I'm giving you a live reaction to my exposure to the music. And I remember listening to MF Doom's Food album, which I believe is his second, back in Serbia about 2 or 3 years ago. So I was about 30 or 31 years old. And I really, really, really dug it. I thought it was absolutely dope. After that, I tried to get into Mad Villainy, and I really couldn't dig that either. MF Doom is for people who really love the true essence of hip hop, people who like abstract hip hop. Like listening to MF Doom is like when you're sick of looking at, you know, Jay-Z's face or hearing like, you know, another Eminem rap, and you just want the most dense thing, the most hardest to comprehend thing, and you want to just get soaked into that. Like MF Doom is a rapper's rapper, a producer's producer, sort of like how Dilla is like a producer's producer, and like Lupe Fiasco is a rapper's rapper. He paints pictures with words. He's very dense in his storytelling, in his subject matter, and there is a lot to appreciate about MF Doom's music. Now, is it particularly my speed? I can't say that exactly. I can appreciate dope hip hop. And what I can say is I can read between the lines, and I'm starting to grow to appreciate MF Doom's music after delving into this album. And I'm looking forward to listening to more of his music. So let's get into it. I don't want to waste y'all's time. This is the first reaction that I'm having here. And let's get into the track list. So the first song on this album is not really a song. The first track on this album is The Time We Face Doom. And throughout Operation Doom, you get the feeling that he's trying to paint a picture with these audio clips that he's capturing from these old 1960s and 70s Marvel cartoons like Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and that sort of stuff. Of course, his character, Doom, is based on Victor Von Doom, who was the arch nemesis to the Fantastic Four, a mad scientist who got his face destroyed after an experiment and decided to get revenge on the world that betrayed him and his former friend, Reed Richards. And so this is sort of like similar to Doom's persona in the rap industry. He's going to seek revenge on the people that turned their back on him when he was rejected from the industry. So there are a lot of skits on this album, and in the beginning skit, I believe it samples from Wild Style, which is a very famous hip-hop movie. Some people claim it's the very first hip-hop movie ever, and the person is talking about, you know, we're going to get on TV, we're going to show our face, we're going to make money and stuff like that. And then one of his other friends is like, nah, you don't want to show your face because you don't get paid to do interviews, you don't get paid just to be seen. And the other friend is like, nah, if we show our face, we can actually make some bread. And I think this dichotomy is sort of like, or that sort of conversation is sort of like what a lot of people have. Like in the hood, you imagine everybody on MTV, everybody on BET is rich, everybody's balling. But if you really look behind the curtain, the people who are really making money are never seen. And so this is what I think Doom is trying to challenge us with this opening skit, where the two people are talking about whether to show your face or not. And meanwhile, under the layer, while they're having their conversation, there's this robot voice that's talking about, you know, flash message ultra, metal face Doom spotted, and that sort of stuff. So it's sort of like Doom is lurking under the surface of this intro while these two guys above ground are having this very superficial conversation. It's very deep if you really think about it. I'm going to jump into the next song though. But by the way, as I listened to this album, I listened to this album earlier today from beginning to end. and I was reading the lyrics for the entire album on Rap Genius. Now, some people don't like Rap Genius because they believe that the annotations are bad or anybody can go on there and write whatever. It's sort of like Wikipedia. Is Wikipedia going to be your source? Generally not for a good paper. But this is how I wanted to absorb this album, because Doom is someone highly regarded for his lyrical ability. So I just wanted to pay him the ultimate respect. So let's jump here to the first song, the first true song on this album, which is Doomsday. Now, Doomsday is probably his most famous song because it has like 14 million views on YouTube, and so many other people have made like Sade, MF Doom mixes just because this song was so damn good. It features a girl called Pebbles the Invisible Girl, and we don't know who she is. There's no other information about her online. She disappeared from history, and this is a common theme throughout Doom's music. He sort of just grabs random people that he meets in his life and puts them on the track, puts them on wax, which I think is actually very dope and actually very innovative, because, you know, I think he's trying to thumb his nose at the industry and saying, oh, you guys are gatekeepers. You guys don't want to let anybody in because you want to pretend like people have some special talent. But Doom is able to find special talent in odd places, and these people, you know, do amazing work on a lot of his albums. And that's what Pebbles does. She sings an interpolation of Sade's Kiss of Life, but she changes the last line to I swear the whole world could feel you, MC, and it sounds excellent. The beat is very smooth and chill. MF Doom is just flowing over the track. I can't really say that there's a true story or there's some sort of subject that he's trying to stick to on this song. But I feel like this song is like, you know, it has many hints at different parts of his life, because he starts the verse off with, I used to cop a lot, but never copped a drop, hold mics like ponytails tight and bob a lot. So yeah, I think he's, you know, pointing out that, you know, in the past, he used to be involved in the illicit drug trade, and now he's turned his life around and he's rapping on mics, gripping them as hard as he used to grab them girls' ponytails or they were bobbing up and down on him. And there's other lines that reference his former life and who he is as a person. It's sort of like a good introduction to who he is. If this was the first song you played for somebody who never heard of MF Doom, it will be a great impression. And that's exactly what your first album should be like. That's exactly what the first song on your album should be like, a great introduction to who the artist is. So let's go to what I think about the beat and the lyrics overall. It's great. I give this song a 9 out of 10, and that's usually how I rate my songs when I'm going through the playlist. And I have to say, the beginning of Operation Doomsday is like a girl with big titties and no ass. It's really big and great at the front, but it sort of tapers off towards the middle and just builds up a little bit at the end. And that's how I feel about this album. Overall, when you're listening to Operation Doomsday, it feels fun, it's entertaining, there's highlights, there's points that make you chuckle, there's points that make you think, and overall, there are a lot of great songs, but some songs I feel like are a bit lackluster. But I also have to say that this is music for particularly hip hop heads. This is not for the weak-hearted. This music is not for just, you know, people who listen to Tyga and Rack City and stuff like that. This is for people who are deep, deep, deep off into hip hop. I'm going to take off this sweater because, you know, there's so much heat while talking about Doom. I'm literally sweating. I'm literally sweating. Oh, man. Oh, let's go. All right, let's go. So right after Doomsday, we get the song Rhymes Like Dimes, which is sort of like a double entendre, because you can say the rhymes are like dimes, meaning that the rhymes he's slanging are like dime sacks in the street, another reference to his past as a drug dealer and stuff like that. But you could also say that the rhymes are fine, like dimes and stuff like that. Once again, there's references here to Doom's past life, and there are a lot of quotables here. I really like the beat on this song, just like Doomsday, because it's very smooth and chill, and it allows Doom to like breathe and live on the beat while also allowing it to sort of like whisk you away. So the good thing about these beginning songs on the Doom album, they're great songs if you really, really pay attention, but they're also great songs in like the background and that sort of stuff. I wrote down some lyrics that I thought were very cool on the album, like the bars that I felt like were the most, you know, intricate or interesting, because I'm a big lyrical person. So I want to jump here. The first bars that stuck out to me on this album were from Rhymes Like Dimes, and they go, better rhymes make for better songs. It matter not if you get a lot of what it takes just to get along. I thought that line from Doom was very, very dope because I feel like he's pointing out the hypocrisy of hip hop. A lot of people feel like, what makes a great rapper, what makes a great MC, what makes their song stick is because of their image or the X factor and that sort of stuff. And I think at the beginning of Doom's career, he didn't have that X factor, or at least that's how the industry saw him. But he's saying here that what makes a great song is not your image, it's not what you do that makes you get along with people in the industry. It's literally about the rhymes. And this is why I think Doom is so revered by people in the industry. Another line that stuck out in the song is, only in America could you make a way to earn a healthy buck and still keep your attitude on self-destruct. When I first heard that, I was like, that's hard. That's really hard. That's really hard. That resonated with me because that goes into like the psyche of Americans, how we're just so capitalistic and obsessed with accumulating money. And that's what I feel like Rhymes Like Dimes is playing with, like this idea of accumulating capital, but still like at the same time, how nihilistic it can make you, how sick it can make you. And there's a lot of stuff in this song that's very dope. Great song, great hip hop song. I'm gonna give Rhymes Like Dimes a 9 out of 10. I didn't mention this before, but what I also liked about the first song, Doomsday, is that on the second verse, he references his time in jail because he starts that verse with, I wrote this in BCDCO section. If you don't believe me, go get bagged and check then. So yeah, he's saying that, he was locked up. Now, there's nothing great about being locked up, right? Like doing a bid is never cool. Josin is not what it is. But I think a lot of people have this conception of Doom in their mind as like really heavy backpacker and nerdy guy because his fans are like that. And I'll be honest with you, Doom's fans sort of turned me off from his music because I hate people that, are so deep into one subculture of music, one subculture of hip hop. And that doesn't just have to be underground. It could be like you're very into like the SoundCloud sound, or you're really into gangster rap. Like I feel like there's so much good hip hop here. You can love Kendrick and love Jeezy. You can love Doom and love DJ Khaled and that sort of stuff. And I feel like, with Doom, throughout this album, making hints to his criminal past, his struggles that he went through, growing up in poverty, the violence he saw around him and stuff like that. I feel like this makes him, solidified. I hate to say that as if like Doom is like keeping it real, or Doom was out here, committing crimes, and that makes him more authentic. But I just want to say like, that's interesting to hear about this man who usually goes through things that makes people, how can I say this? You expect somebody who did a bid in Baltimore County Jail, or who was out there selling krill, aka crack, that they wouldn't be intelligent, that they wouldn't be as articulate as Doom is. But that's what happens on this album. You see this man who has so many crazy ideas, so many wild ways of wowing us with words, that's what we get when we listen to this album. Now, let's go to one of the sickest songs on the album, track 4, The Finest. And once again, Doom pulls out some guy that we've never heard of before, Tommy Gunn, aka Tommy Tashuma. You try to research him, you try to dig deep in the archives, you do a whole background check, nothing comes up on him, but boy does he show up on The Finest and stunt like what? Like, oh my God, this song is actually really sick, really sick. I love the lyrics here. This song had, I believe, the most quotables that I wrote down while listening to this album. The beat is okay, but once again, the thing about Doom beats is that they are very, very like beat hip hop purist centric. And you're not listening to this album expecting to get 808 basses and like, hi-hats and snares that are with wild patterns and stuff like that. It's not meant to bump in the clubs or pre-gaming on a Friday. These beats are like headphone ready, like you're on the subway, you're like, walking downtown and stuff like that. Doom's music is meant to be played like that. Now, some of the beats are very, very good, and some of them have that deep bass and other stuff, but they're very soulful. There's a lot of soul samples here and that sort of stuff, and The Finest beat is similar to that. The lyrics, though, are just out of control, and even if the Doom beats by themselves aren't the greatest beats on earth, the way he raps on them, similar to how Nas can turn a bad beat into a great song like I'm the Man, that's what MF Doom does here. And that's what I think is the genius of this. So The Finest is basically Doom and this guy, Tommy Gunn, going back and forth on the song for about 3 minutes. I'm going to quote some of the lyrics here that I thought were absolutely insane. I believe Tommy Gunn said this: "I know about going paid to broke, to next day well off, to bust the shell off, to dick riders, get the hell off." That's hard. That is hard. Those are bars. That's what we need outside. Yes, I know about going paid to broke, to next day well off. I mean, I've definitely related to that because I've been broke, I've been rich, then I went broke again. And so those bars right there really resonate with me. And then in the next line, he says, "To bust the shell off," meaning like you have to retaliate to get them off your back. To dick riders, telling them to get the hell off, as in get away from you. Yeah, that's what you need. You got to clear your space. So that was very dope. The Finest is very sick for those lyrics from Tommy Gunn. Another line he says, I believe, "Hands up, hold 'em high, do or die. He got heat, no surprise. Stop the beat, close your eyes, got the weed, rolling live." Hey, this is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'm gonna say about The Finest, man. Even if that line right there, "Hands up, hold 'em high, do or die. He got heat, no surprise. Stop the beat, close your eyes, got the weed, rolling live." It might not be very intricate. It might not have like double entendres, metaphors, and similes, but that line is so hard. I just like a good flow, like a good 2-bar rolling flow pattern. That's sick. And I believe that was Tommy Gunn that said that there. And it's like classic emceeing. And you can kind of look at it two ways, because he could say, "Hands up, hold 'em high, do or die, guy heat, no surprise," like he's trying to MC the crowd. Or he could be a jack boy saying like, "Hands up, hold 'em high, do or die, he got heat, no surprise, stop the beat." You get what I'm saying? It could be like double, it could be seen that way. And Tommy Gunn absolutely slaughters this song. But I think one of the illest lines here is actually from Doom. I believe it's on the 3rd verse or somewhere towards the end of the song. MF Doom says, "Used to talk to myself. I told him, shut the F up, buckle up, because it's about to be rough. He said, keep talking that ish, you about to be snuffed. Then we squashed it. I let him know, watch it. We only met a time to join these rhymers in the mosh pit." That's hard. That's hard. And I really think, throughout listening to Operation Doomsday, what you're seeing is this battle between the perception of good and evil and the duality of these two ideas. Because towards the end of the Operation Doomsday album, there's a poet who reads a poem that says, like, what is a villain? What is really a hero? And that sort of stuff. And throughout the album, of course, we're rooting for Doom because he's the protagonist of the story, but he's outwardly pretending to be a villain and also pretending to be a crazy person because he refers to himself as retarded multiple times throughout the album, and it's not that bright. And I really like this line here because everybody here should have an inner monologue. They should talk to themselves. So Doom says, "I used to talk to myself. I told him, shut the F up." And that's something that I think we all go through. Like, definitely, I think to myself a lot, analyze myself, critique myself, and then I have to tell myself, shut the F up. And then the next line he says here, "Buckle up, because it's about to be rough." All right. So is that him talking to his self-conscious, or is that self-conscious talking to him, telling him to be prepared for what happens next? I don't know. He said, "Keep talking that ish, you about to get snuffed." So is his brain threatening him, or is he threatening his brain, or is it his brain warning him that you shouldn't do that because you might get knocked out? Or is he telling his brain, like, don't make us do this because we might get messed up? But then he finds that inner peace because he says, "Then we squashed it. I let him know, watch it. We only met a time to join these rhymers in the mosh pit." Bringing the whole craziness together, showing that he is a wild thinking man because his brain and himself had like this beef just to be ready to enter conflict with rhymers in a cipher. That's absolutely dope, absolutely brilliant. And another great line from this song right here, The Finest, I believe this was from Tommy Gunn. And when I heard it, I chuckled a bit, I laughed out loud. Tommy Gunn said, "Shorty in all black, she thinks she all that. I called her. She said, don't call back. She called me." Now, what you call that? You got to pop your collar to that, man. You got to pop your collar to that, man. That's real talk. That's hard body. I like that line. I mean, once again, it's not super clever. It's not super witty. It's not lyrical miracle, but it's just playing. That's real talk. Tommy Gunn says, shorty in the all black. She thinks she all that. I called her. She said, don't call back. She called me. Now, what you call that? Pop your collar, man. I really love that song, The Finest. So far on Operation Doomsday, the song, 9 out of 10. Rhymes Like Dimes, featuring DJ Cucumber Slice, who doesn't do anything but shout outs, 9 out of 10. And The Finest, 9 out of 10. These songs, these first three songs are strong. Very hard way to open an album. And yeah, then we get into another skit back in the days. Now, I'm not going to analyze the skits because I think the first skit, the last skit, and maybe some other ones are actually cool. But generally, all the skits throughout the album are like samples from the movie Wild Style or some, movie or some cartoon with the from the Fantastic Four where they're talking about the character Doom, or the movie Wild Style where they're talking about a graffiti artist who's spray painting a hand. And I believe that's an allusion to like, how can I say this, Doom's gloves, because Doom has various weapons and pieces of armor that he uses to, how can I say, attack his enemies and build his power and stuff like that. I have to say that when you're listening to the album, he does a great job of, making you feel like you're listening to or watching a Saturday morning cartoon. I grew up watching that X-Men cartoon, that Spider-Man cartoon, and Pokemon and stuff like that. And those were just exciting. They were just interesting little phrases, parts that made you laugh, parts that made you, really root for your characters. So that's what you're doing when you're listening to Operation Doomsday. And it just makes it feel fun. Like DJ Cucumber Slice shouting out the just random stuff at the end of Rhymes Like Dimes is like hella fun. So you can't knock that. Now, Go With The Flow comes in, and I'm going to be honest with you. Go With The Flow, to me, is a bit where the album starts to taper off a little bit. I'm going to be real with you. Now, if there are any Doom fans out here who are going to like roast me because I don't like certain songs on here and you guys think this is a classic, fine. Y'all can roast me for that, but I'm keeping it real with you because what I do as a reviewer is I just have to be honest about what's enjoyable to the most amount of people, while also considering the fact that the art can be avant-garde, that it can be very different, that it can be spectacular, but it has to balance being appealable, but also forward thinking and innovative. And that's Doom has a lot of those qualities, but sometimes it falls off. So Go With The Flow, I didn't really like that much. So I'll just say if there are any lyrics that I really like from Go With The Flow. Okay, so there was one bar he said here, speak your piece only once you've spoken to first. Now let me hear your verse while I'm choking you. I really just like that line because it reminded me of like old Eminem when he would just make you feel like he was battling somebody and you were just listening to it on records. Go With The Flow is a lot of rapping for rapping's sake, in my opinion. I don't really feel like there's a lot of depth there. There are funny, interesting references to like the Arabs who clap the thieves in their stores and stuff like that. But really the song is just, two verses where he's like spitting. Some people say that this song is about like some people say it's about like the monsters that are apparently on Doom's Island and stuff like that, because he opens up, big up all the Monster Island massive. But Monster Island, I believe, also refers to his crew or something like that. Either way, Go With The Flow is just all right. Once again, it's music great for the background, or great if you really want to listen to those one-liner lyrics that make you tune in. But overall, I'm going to just give that song a 7 out of 10. Go With The Flow gets a 7 out of 10. So let's go to the next song on the list. Now, the next song, okay. Yeah, I'm sweating out here, but that's because I turned the heat on before I turned on the live stream, and I shouldn't have done that because I'm like wearing my sweaters and stuff like that. But I'm going hard here because I got some other stuff I really want to do, but I'm just giving y'all my all. Shout out to Mad Villainy. Let me know if you have any favorite song on Operation Doomsday and what you guys think of this album, because I'm preparing to write for Culturalist Theory about MF Doom. Now, I want to say, though, I will not be releasing the list on here. I will not be releasing anything that I write for Culturalist Theory on my personal YouTube channel at all. If you want to read the full list of my opinion, Doom's best albums, you got to subscribe to Culturalist Theory, check out their content, and wait for that episode to drop. Okay. Mad Villainy said Doom did a lot of rhyming for rhyming's sake. Okay, that's an interesting comment. I think when you listen to Doom, it's hard not to hear Ghostface Killah in his style. And some people might say also Cool Keith or some other obscure, rapper who did free association rhymes. But I feel like Doom took a lot of influence, and some might even say biting. I'm not going to go there, but I'm going to say he took a lot of influence from Wu-Tang Clan, specifically Ghostface and Raekwon, because when we think about gangsta free association rhyming, that is Raekwon and Ghostface style to a T. And then also when we look at Doom's catalog and we analyze that he incorporated a lot of, clips from movies, clips from TV shows into it, that's 36 Chambers. Now, 36 Chambers is one of my favorite albums. But the thing is, if your album has so many skits and pieces and the songs are all broken up into different parts, it makes it hard to listen to it on shuffle. And I don't know if anybody else does this, but I listen to a lot of music on shuffle. If it's a dope album, I don't want to have to listen to it from top to bottom or cherry pick songs. I want to be able to press shuffle and play track 17, track 2, something like that. Like the Carter 2. I'm keeping it real. The Carter 2 is a great album on shuffle. You turn it on and it can just roll. All right, I'm going to go here to the next part. So one of my favorite songs, and in fact, one of the best hip hop songs that I've heard so far this year. And some people might say, well, this song is like 2 years old, or this album is like more than 20 years old. How can you just now say this is one of the best songs this year? This is the first time I heard it this year, so I'm going to say it. Tick, Tick, track 7 with MF Grimm. Solo song from MF Grimm. No MF Doom verses on it at all. It's one of the illest rap songs I have ever heard, because in the song, it's MF Grimm for 2 verses dealing with the duality of heaven and hell, good and evil, heroes and villains, life or death, and that sort of stuff. And the beat changes the entire time. So while he's rapping, the beat slows down and then it speeds up. I have never heard something like that before. And I'm surprised nobody has talked about this song. Like, this is one of the songs that gets passed around. Like, yo, you have to hear this. And I'm going to keep it real. Tick, Tick is insane. It is literally insane. And I want to point out some of my favorite lyrics from this song. Tick, Tick. So MF Grimm says, my mind is heaven's gate, so enter me. My mind is the gates to hell, so try to flee. Both gates look the same. Which will it be? I mean, that's so dope. That's so dope. I just really can't express it, because I like those. I like when people play with the imagery of heaven and hell, because I'm not a super religious person, but I am a Muslim, and I do think about the afterlife and stuff like that and what that world sort of looks like. And MF Grimm painting this picture as if he's God rapping to you is actually really dope, asking these philosophical questions. How would you know the difference between the gates of heaven and gates of hell if they looked exactly the same? So very dope lines here. The rest of the verse is absolutely sick. And I really, really like how the chorus goes, slow it down, speed it up, and Grim Reaper, eat 'em up. It's absolutely dope. One of the best songs on the album, absolutely 9 out of 10. Much better than Go With The Flow. Let's go here to the next song, which I believe is possibly MF Doom's best song, because, oh my God, it's so dope. It's so deep. Red and Gold. Let's really talk about Red and Gold. Why am I 33 years old and just now hearing Red and Gold? I feel like if I heard Red and Gold when I was like a kid, like 15, 16, I would have been like one of y'all who really believe that Doom is the GOAT or Doom is God. Because this is one of the deepest songs. Because a lot of the times when we think about Doom, we don't think about him giving, how can I say this? And I'm just talking as somebody who's a hip hop fan and just knows Doom from what other people say about me and only picking up a few songs here and there. But generally, we get the impression that Doom is like super backpack. He's just free association rhyming, just trying to wow us with words and take us on this, crazy, fantastical journey. But he is actually talking a lot of street shit. I'm keeping it real. And I really like street hip hop. I really like a lot of gangster rap. So I really found this song interesting because he plays with the idea of what it means to have that senseless violence play out in the streets. And Red and Gold, I believe, is a song, and I think it could be interpreted many ways, as trying to survive the hot summer when the murder rate goes up, to see the leaves turn red and gold, meaning that autumn has come. And there's a lot of lines in here referencing the coming of autumn, making it through autumn, and avoiding the Nimrods or waiting for Nimrod to appear. And I believe, and I didn't do much research on this, and I'm not a mythologist, But there's references here to the god Nimrod, who I believe is ancient Greek, and he would appear when the leaves turn red and gold. But Nimrod is also a word that means a stupid person, a person who makes brash and rash decisions. So he's saying on one hand, like, watch out for the Nimrods who are in the hood, like the little boys or the stupid people out there who will clap you up for no reason. And then at the same time, he's saying, like, watch out for Nimrod, meaning be aware and stay woke and stay awake and stay cool and stay chill so you can see the fall happen. Really dope. I want to talk about the beat. The beat is absolutely sick. Beat is fantastic. Beat is fantastic. But once again, it's not for everybody. I like the opening lines here. He says, I remember when, last past November when, clown kids got pounded in with the Timberlands. They left him trembling. He was not remembering. Never tuck your denim in just to floss an emblem. Very, very, very dope. All right, Nimrod was an X-Men villain. IRCC says mad villainy. All right, I don't know what IRCC means. In real continuity, maybe. I don't know. But Nimrod is a name that's been used. I believe Nimrod is also a character in the Bible. I believe Nimrod is a Greek god. And I wonder why he would put that in there. Listen, I'm not that heavy in, if I recall correctly. Okay, see, I'm old, guys. I'm old. I'm not catching it all. But either way, another line from Red and Gold that I thought was really dope. He said, and I knew it was the last day, wig twisting season, when some could get their wigs twisted back within reason, mostly with these crimes of treason. And you'll be lucky if there's no squeezing even this evening. That's the hook of the song. And I just thought that's dope because a lot of the times when we think about the violence, we think it's all senseless and stupid. And also the rappers make it seem senseless and stupid because one rapper can kill like 30 people in one song and they never give any background or context for it. But here in this song, MF Doom gives context. He's giving warning. He's talking about how he remains cool and he remains calm and chill. And the thing is, right, it goes really deep if you think about it, right? The thing is, in hip hop, all the rappers are naturally villains, right? But when we think about villains, they all have crazy origin stories. For example, MF, the real Dr. Doom, had a crazy origin story where something tragic happened to him, which made him hate the world. And in the background story of most rappers, what they do is what has happened to them is that they grow up in communities where they're dejected, left behind, left in poverty, father wasn't there, et cetera, you know, boo-hoo, sad story, Black Americans, dad story, and that sort of stuff. And then they grow up to be resentful towards the world or have an attitude towards the world where it's, you know, F it all, right? This is sort of like what Doom is playing into. He puts on the mask, he puts on the identity of being a villain, and then really truly embraces it for many different reasons. I believe possibly because the industry turned its back on him, possibly because he wanted to have some way of making people focus on his lyrics rather than his appearance. There are so many ways, but he embraces this idea of being a villain. But within the villain's origin story, there is some heart, there is some reason to their madness. A good villain has a good reason for their villainy, if that makes sense. And this is what I believe he's painting the picture with Red and Gold, because we're so quick to view people as the villain in a community where so many murders happen, but he makes it make sense. And this is what I find the beauty in this song. Very dope song. Okay, so I'm going to jump into this comment here from Mad Villainy. He says, MF Doom had a legit origin story of stories. Yeah, I believe he was a tether. No, I believe he was from the UK, and then he came to the US. Then he wasn't able to enter back into the UK from the brief research I've done on his life story. And yeah, basically he lived the rest of his life in the UK. But yeah, did a lot of dirt in the US, was in and out, and was in the streets heavy. I really like this other line, though, from Red and Gold. And this one I think is so profound. It's like a mosquito, the much sweeter resent the act. I've been bent back since my physical went back, since cultured, more of my kin. And for them, I keep an L rolled in this hellhole. Hold your head, use your head, and hold or be dead, and cold in the worstest way. Soon as the leaves show red and gold, till round Nimrod release day. That's very deep. That's very deep, man. I really like the first line. It's like a mosquito, the much sweeter resent the act. All right, let's break this down. A mosquito, what does a mosquito do? A mosquito eats blood to live. A mosquito eats blood literally for life. And if he compares, I feels like he's comparing the killers in the hood to mosquitoes. Having to take a life, having to shed blood is just a necessary part of the dope game or any sort of illicit trade. But the much sweeter resent the act. Sweet might be the people who are nicer, kinder, and even though they have to take a life, catch a body, they still find some humanity in themselves and they resent the idea of having to take a life or having to draw blood like a mosquito. Plus, MF Doom gives allusions and points out his Islamic faith. And if you're a Muslim who's read the Quran, there is an ayat in the Quran that talks about the mosquito. I don't know it exactly, but it says, Allah created the mosquito. Ponder over it, think of it, and remember that God is forgiving and merciful, which is simple at first glance, but it's very deep. Think about what a mosquito is. Why would God create something that needs to suck on blood to continue to live? Why does God create things that hurt us, but then also play a part of our ecosystem? I think it's very, very deep and dope if you break down into that line in itself. Gonna go to Radical Truth to Power. Wow, never knew about this guy. I don't know if you're asking me or if you're asking yourself. I broke down my relationship with Doom or my knowledge of Doom at the beginning of the live stream, so you can recall back. But shout out to Radical Truth to Power. Let's go into the next line here. He says, hold your head, use your head, and hold or be dead. And cold in the worstest way. Soon as the leaves show red and gold to round Nimrod release day. Dope line. Hold your head, sort of like how Tupac said, be proud, be resilient in this world. Use your head, meaning like be smart, be woke, be aware. And hold, meaning hold what? Hold the tool. All right. And Radical Truth to Power says, I knew about MF Doom. All right. Well, shout out to you. Let us know what you think is your favorite song on Operation Doomsday. Right now, I think I'm on track 4 or 5. So let us know what you're feeling here. So hold or be dead. So you mean you got to hold the peace or be dead, and cold in the worstest way. Soon as the leaves show red and gold to round Nimrod release day. Now, once again, I'm going to stick with the theory that Nimrod is a symbol for autumn coming and that sort of stuff. And I really, really like Red and Gold. So that song, 9 out of 10. I could rant about that all day. Okay. Oh, he said, now Radical Truth to Power saying, I never knew about MF Doom. Sorry, typing too fast. Okay. Well, either way, Radical Truth to Power, I'm starting a album review section on my channel. So check out the albums that are dropping. Also check out the hip hop writing I'm doing for Culturalist Theory. The link is in the description of this video for the pieces I wrote for Big Crit, Khalees, stuff like that. I'm working on MF Doom, but I'm just sharing my first impressions of MF Doom's first album on here with y'all. So shout out to everybody in the chat, Mad Villainy, Ozzy, Radical Truth to Power. Let's get into the next song on this album after we talk about this skit, The Hands of Doom. Once again, like I said, the skits on this album are a bit superfluous. I know that's his style, but I'll just say, once again, like a great album to me is something that doesn't have that many skits. I can appreciate 1 or 2, but I know this is important for Doom style because he's all about atmosphere building. When you turn on a Doom record, you know it's a Doom record because you hear those scratches, those mixes of movie clips and obscure obscure cartoons and stuff like that. So yeah, shout out to Doom for doing that, but that's just, once again, not my speed. All right, here's where the album starts to taper off again. Who You Think I Am, featuring X-Ray, Rodon, Megalon, KD, King Ghidra, and Kong. By the way, I forgot to say this. Red and Gold is actually not MF Doom, it's King Ghidra, which is basically MF Doom's alter ego. So he does this often where he has multiple personalities and stuff like that. And he uses these different alternative presentations of himself to rap in different ways. And my opinion, or at least my theory, is that King Ghidra is more of the street rapper side of Doom. And MF Doom, the rapper, is just more the mad villain, mad scientist, and stuff like that. Because I feel like King Ghidra, as the alter ego, thank you, Mad Villainy, is like his more street side, raw side, and where he's just rapping for real. But MF Doom is just a wild boy. But I have to say, The Hands of Doom, I was not impressed with lyrically. I feel like, Doom could have just made the song made more sense. I believe, honestly, he had the best verse on there. I'm trying to see if there were any lyrics that I picked up from that song. Not really. No, I wasn't feeling it. All right. Mad Villainy says MF Doom inspired me to produce music. All right, that's dope, Mad Villainy. Let us know where we can check out your beats. We'll support you. We'll drop likes, comments on your stuff if it's on YouTube and stuff like that. If I was rapping, I would have rapped over your beats, man. But yeah, let us know how we can support you. Drop that link in the chat. Don't be scared. This is a community here. We're here to build each other up. Okay, so what's after that song? What's after who you think I am? Yeah, who you think I am? To me, honestly, I'm gonna give that a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10, because I feel like who you think I am, also Hey, the Mic, stuff like that. These sort of songs were probably the songs that my cousin played to me when I first heard of Doom that made me turned off from Doom. And this is the type of music that can make somebody say, you know what, this is like scaring the hoes. And the last thing we want to do when we turn on rap is scare the hoes. All right, but yeah, let's go to after Who You Think I Am. There's another skit, Doom, Are You Awake? Okay, a bit much. Let's go to Hey. Now, I'm sure a lot of people really like this song. A lot of people probably really feel Hey. I didn't feel the beat that much because it's over a Scooby-Doo sample. It's just not that sick. It's just one long verse where he's just spitting. And you know what? I feel like Ghostface does it a bit better. Maybe this might be a controversial thing to say, but I feel like Ghostface does this style of rap better. And people that like Doom like the bigger universe that Doom makes around his music that Ghostface usually doesn't do. I feel like Ghostface, Supreme Clientele, and Iron Man really, created a whole new wave. And what MF Doom did is really just take Ghostface wave and just drive that theme harder and harder home by becoming the supervillain and building up this alter ego in the universe around the music and that sort of stuff. And listen, I think that style had a time and place, and yes, it should be appreciated. But songs like Hey, I didn't find any quotable lyrics. It was just sort of like mumbo jumbo to me. I'll just read some. They locks Lex Luthor up in Green Haven. Since when a nigga never really been too clean shaven? Okay. I mean, he's playing with the evil genius idea, alter ego idea, but it's just not really for me. Let's go to Operation Greenbacks, because Hey for me gets like a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. So I just want to go over the song. I want to go over the songs real quick. So Doomsday, the first song on the album, 9 out of 10. Rhymes Like Dimes, 9 out of 10. The Finest featuring Tommy Gun, 9 out of 10. Go With The Flow, 7 out of 10. Tick Tick, 9 out of 10. Featuring MF Grimm, by the way. Red and Gold, King Ghidra, or MF Doom, whatever you want to call him, 9 out of 10. Who You Think I Am? 6 out of 10. Hey, 6 out of 10. And let's go to Operation Greenback now. So I didn't find much here. There's the name King Ghidorah. Now, I don't know if King Ghidorah is different. I think, yeah, King Ghidorah is different than King Ghidra. Okay, I'm going to jump into this comment here from Mad Villainy before I review this song right here. So, got 40 songs as MKNFX. You can find on YouTube Music or YouTube. Not mastered well, but it's there. Shout out to Mad Villainy. We're going to check them out after the stream, and y'all go support that man. Check out his music and all that stuff. And yeah, maybe I'll ask to use that as like background music for like a video or something, if that's okay with you, Mad Villainy. All right. So yeah, King Ghidra was rapping his ass off, and Doom always raps his ass off. But yeah, I don't know if King Ghidorah is Doom. I don't remember exactly. Let me play that song right now, because I don't remember if King Ghidorah. I mean, yeah, King Ghidorah has to be Doom, because Megalon is on the track, and I don't remember any song on Operation Doomsday having two other rappers who are not MF Doom. There was only one solo song I remember, and that was the one with MF Grimm. So yeah, King Ghidorah is definitely MF Doom. Maybe one line I liked on this song was when MF said, "What a fella, like salt and pepper, Spinderella. I came to spark the deaf, dumb, and blind like Helen Keller. If I'm not with George of the Jungle, if he not with Stella or either Priscilla, I'm doing dips on Godzilla." That's hard. I mean, that's hard. I just like it because it's funny, it's cute, it's clever. But yeah. Just a lot of wild references here. I'm gonna give Operation Greenbacks 6 out of 10, mostly for the beat and mostly just for lacking any sort of cohesion as a song. Let's go to the mic. All right. I think the mic was a song I slightly liked more than Operation Greenback and Hey and Who You Think I Am, but not by much. Okay. And let's listen. Let's look at the mic. If there were any quotable lines on the mic. Yeah, there were a few bars I liked on the mic. Myself and two Aolites had ran through this crew of three. In my earlier days, they showed me things new to me. So we knew mad brothers who they had hit off. They even used to watch each other just to rock they ish off. So, all right, now I remember what the mic was about. The mic was a song about him and his relationship with like women, right? These kind of loose women. They kind of sound like pros. They sound like pros, in my opinion. Or they sound like girls who are really out in the streets and they took little MF Doom under his wing and protected him and guided him and showed him ways. And I think you could also interpret the song, The Mic, based on the name, as meaning that the music, the girl he's rapping about is actually hip hop, or is actually being on stage and rapping and stuff like that. I really like the line that I quoted because I thought it was cool. Myself and two Aolites had ran through this crew of three. So him and his homies had ran through this crew of three girls, right? In my earlier days, they showed me things new to me. So, they had, once again, raised him in a way. So we knew mad brothers who they had hit off. They even used to watch each other just to rock the ish off. I thought that was sick because I thought, it sounds like these two tricks he was hanging out with, or these girls that he used to screw over, or he used to screw. They were so wild that one girl would be laying down with a John, and then she would like pop her stuff while the other one was getting knocked down. I think that was slick. So Mad Villainy said, yes, you're welcome to use them as BGM. Not sure what BGM is. Boy, you're using a lot of acronyms here. I am not that witty. I'm not that plugged in. All right. Another line I liked on the song, The Mic. You find out who's your mans when you're broke, like a bad joke. It's funny when you're on, you got mad folk. Very real. Once you got bread, people love you. When you don't have bread, people bounce. Mad Villainy said background music. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Background music. Shout out for the love and letting me do that if I ever so choose to. So let's get into that song. Operation Greenback. No, the mic for me gets like a 7 out of 10. I'm giving the mic a 7 out of 10. I think I liked the beat the last time I heard it, and I like the idea of telling the story of the girls. The album picks up here. It's still not touching like the first 3 or 4 songs on Operation Doomsday, but it's still very dope. Now, let's go to the next song because there's a skit, The Mystery of Doom, once again, painting the picture and that sort of stuff. Now, oh no, did I skip question mark? Did I skip question mark? No. So before we get to the mic, we get to Dead Bent. And I think a lot of people probably like Dead Bent, but it's not for me. Once again, I feel like there's no theme here. I don't feel like there's anything that was trying to be conveyed. It was just rapping for rhyming's sake. Once again, there's some very sick lines here. When you broke north, I crashed the barbecue like Riddick at the Garden True. That's the God in me. Pardon you. Jeepers. I was tore back. The hoe gained access to my beeper. Called back my secretary gatekeeper. Like I ain't peeper. I said, darling, you was stupid though. You know the super villain. He is a super hoe. That's sick. But once again, I mean, it's real dope rhyming, and it's just naturally very talented. The thing that I like about Doom is that he comes across the way he's rapping with like this lisp and like this husky voice. It makes it sound like this is like an autistic savant. Like if rapping could be done by somebody who was neurodivergent. That's what it would sound like. And I feel like Doom might have been on the spectrum a bit by the way he puts his words together and the way these songs are layered and the way he makes his beats and that sort of stuff. Dead Bent had like a decent beat, great lyrics and stuff like that. But overall, I'm just going to give Dead Bent maybe a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10. Gas Draws has a funny name. But once again, I feel like it's not reaching for anything, sincerely. Dope lines here. A lot of dope lines. I'm just going to cherry pick something. So My disaster cause, hell, and gas draws. The super villain cooler than a million. I be chillin', still quick to slice squares like Sicilians. Don't make me have to hurt them feelings. I'll ruin you in the dirt that I be doing in my dealings while I'm sending spirits through the ceiling. Chrome peeling, dome blowing with the comforts of your own home. Grown big, willing, and high rolling. I hold the lie. It keeps the style on my eyes swollen. That's hard. Those are bars. Those are bars once again. But this is somewhat indistinguishable from the previous song that I spoke about. He gives a shout out to his brother Sub Rock, who passed away, and he builds more on Sub Rock in a later song, which I think is very dope, and I think you know what I'm talking about. But to my brother Sub Rock and Black Jewel, I crack a brew for two more, three men, two up. I hit the brew up like nobody knows how X the unseen feels when giving crews a brush with death like between meals, 2 times a day with brothers that's tight like a noose, with more rhymes and use than Dr. Seuss. That's just rapping. That's just flexing. I feel like on your first album, a lot of rappers just want to flex. They want to show how nice they are. And I feel like Doom was trying to do that, but also show a little bit of who he was, but keep that identity a bit secret and stuff like that. And yeah, Gas Draws is hard, but I'm gonna give it maybe a 6.5, 6.5, 7 maybe. Some of these songs might grow on me. The thing is, this album and Doom's catalog in general was pretty dope, and it's for a specific mood, so it might grow on you. But I'm going to give that a 6.5 or 7, right? So let's go into Question Mark featuring Curious. Now, a lot of people like this song because I think it has a lot of views on YouTube. A lot of people have checked out this song, and it's probably one of these songs that would have to be included on a greatest hits of Doom. And Question Mark, I believe, is a beautiful song because he is paying tribute to his brother who was hit by a car and died. And there are some very dope lyrics here. It's very sentimental while at the same time being authentically Doom with wild references and lyrics all over the place. The beat is sick as well. He opens up with like just shining for shining's sake with the lyrics in the first verse. He says, the extorter brings slaughter like, well, I oughta. I suggest you hand over the formula, Dilla, a villain in your land, in his land, a ruler. Now, I think that line is absolutely hilarious. The extorter brings slaughter like, well, I oughta. I mean, who talks like that? Who talks like that? But that's Doom's creative neurodivergent savant mind. Really dope. He then says, I suggest you hand over the formula, Dilla, a villain in your land, in his land, a ruler. Now, I believe this is a double entendre that's absolutely sick. It's social commentary right there. I suggest you hand over the formula, Dilla. So he's robbing an Arab grocery store owner or bodega owner or corner store owner or gas station owner. But you know the idea. If you're from America, the gas stations, corner stores owned by the Arabs, Chinese, Indians, right? So Abdullah or Dilla is being stuck up. And then the line is said, a villain in your land, in his land, a ruler. Very dope line. I interpret it like this. I interpret that line like this. He is saying that in the Arabs' lands, they have villains. They might be the villains over there. And so then that's why they come to the US. And so then they become rulers. They become hella rich, open stores, become hella successful and that sort of stuff. And so then they look at the people that come into their stores, such as Black Americans or other people, sometimes with disrespect. And they look at us as villains, even when we don't rob them, right? And then I believe you could also look at this line another way, right? Like a villain in your land. So in your land, a villain in your land, meaning like in America, right? Black people are considered to be the villains and that sort of stuff. But we go to their land and we are rulers. I swear I laid this down perfectly the last time. The first time I recorded this, I laid it down so perfectly, but it's just not coming to me exactly. But this line can be interpreted so many ways, and I'll just leave it there because I'm going to mess it up a bit. But you get the first idea that I was trying to put out there. Let's go here to the second line that I like from Question Mark. I take a look at my life and pace the trails from the tableek and savage females with fake nails to face veils. You out your friends for still bagging them too. You know I know these hoes be asking me if I'm you. Like my twin brother, we did everything together from 100 Rakat Salats to cop and butter leathers. Very dope line there. Playing with the idea about him and his brother, dealing with the same hoes and dealing with all sorts of people and all sorts of women from the tableek, the women who are very focused on Islam. They're very religious, wearing the face veils, to the women who are have the fake nails and eyelashes and that sort of stuff. And they were still bagging them. They were still getting the girls and stuff like that. But now that his brother is gone, the girls are now coming up to MF Doom and saying, "Are you Sub Rock?" And he has to tell them no. So he misses his twin brother, and he did everything together. And this is where he gives a reference to his Islamic faith, because he's talking about doing hundreds of rakat salats, meaning going up and down in prayer, and copping butter leather. So meaning that they were, one hand was in the one foot was in the mosque, another foot was in the streets. I thought that line was very dope. And then he says here, "I keep a flick of you with the machete swords in your hand. Everything is going according to plan, man." And that's bittersweet. That's such a bittersweet, beautiful line. I really like that line there, because what he's saying, you know, if you're a Muslim, you know that the Muslims are the people who love death more than life, meaning that we are people who are ready to leave this material world to go to the world of our creator and meet our creator and meet our prophets and that sort of stuff. And so we always believe that Allah has a plan for us. And I'm a Muslim anyway, for anybody who doesn't know. And so I believe, you know, MF Doom had a real deep spiritual connection here, or a really deep spiritual line he was trying to get across, that even though his brother is gone and it's heartbroken for him, it's heartbreaking for him, he still knows that this is part of Allah's plan. And I thought that was a very sweet and sincere way of doing that. And so I give an absolutely a 9 out of 10. That is a very dope song overall. I really like that song. I just really hate that I had to sift through about 5 other songs that I didn't really like before I got to , which is hands down one of his best songs. I'm going to try to break down that line about a villain in your land and his land a ruler again, maybe if it comes to my mind at the end of this stream. But yeah, that's about one of the last songs on the official track list for this. And then we have the Heroes versus Villains epilogue, where this poet named E. Mason starts reading a poem about what it means to be a hero, what it means to be a villain. He says, "What's the hero? Who's the villain? Dead or living? Killed or killing? Who the F should remain chilling?" Webster says, "Wicked and evil, but who's Webster?" So he's trying to say that we should question all that's around us, question the ideas about what we're told is good and bad, right and wrong, who's the hero, who's the villain. And that's what I think Doom is trying to do with this album, with a lot of the songs. He's trying to make us challenge this notion that villains are all bad, villains are just merciless creatures, and they deserve no mercy from us. And I think that that's what Doom was trying to get across with this very dense album, very, very dense album. Now, the last song on the album is actually a bonus track, and MF Grimm appears again, Hamdulillah, and he absolutely murders it. I really like the last song, I Hear Voices. Should have been, deeper in the track list. Like, it should have been track number 10 or track number 11, honestly. But I Hear Voices has MF Grimm going back and forth about, having these voices in his mind. And his first verse is about, he has dreams of, taking lives and being powerful and that sort of stuff. And then I really like the line where he says, "Those who seek me are called wise men, or either wise guys. I pray you comprehend and realize I'm condemned." Because, he's talking about, he wants to take his life, take others' lives and that sort of stuff. But that people that seek him for his wisdom realize that he's so like a Jesus-like figure and that sort of stuff. Or there are wise guys, meaning like they're mafia figures, and they fail to comprehend that he is a condemned man, a man forever living in death. Because the next verse that comes after the first verse that opens the song on I Hear Voices, he says this. He's painting a story of being in jail. And in jail, his bunkmate is like bleeding from his back. He's slowly dying, and he's cold, and he's getting no help. He calls for the COs, and the COs say, "There's nobody in here." And that reminds me of like that twist at the end of Mind Playing Tricks on Me by the Ghetto Boys. It's just one of those interesting things, because once again, hip hop deals with like a lot of deep issues, and no other genre could make a song talking about psychotic breaks, schizophrenia, and that sort of stuff. I mean, this is just a brilliant song. MF Grimm is a dope rapper, and I really want to delve more in MF Grimm's catalog as well as Doom's. But Doom sets it off. with this line here: to my metal-faced bros with stomachs of cast iron, who been in to win and blast to the last siren. On the slow-mo, the calm artist with the so-so chick, chase them all like how he did to Slobodan Milosevic. Anywho, how about them Yankees? Once I leave off stage, the party people thanks me. And so, yeah, I just thought that was hilarious. That was just a hilarious line overall. And I think the dichotomy of the song is that MF Grimm rips it, and then MF Doom sort of like farts on the track, because MF Grimm ends his verse by saying, a lesson was learned, communicate with one. I was chosen because I'm God's son. And then MF Doom bursts in and says, I'm the retarded one, and then just starts rapping once again like a autistic savant, lyricist. And I really like that line that I just quoted for several reasons. He references Slobodan Milosevic like he's going to chase down the rappers. Presumably, he wants to chase down Slobodan Milosevic because he committed genocide against the Bosnian Muslims, and MF Doom, hinted at his Muslim identity in the album and that sort of stuff. He's giving a shout out to his fans who go hard for him and also go hard. And then after he makes that crazy reference to Slobodan Milosevic, he says, anywho, how about the Yankees? Once I leave off stage, the party people thank me. I mean, that's just silly. That's just tongue-in-cheek. And that's sort of the brilliance in MF Doom as a rapper. Not many rappers are able to be humorous. They're able to be funny. Not many rappers are able to be comedic in their bars. Biggie could do it. Big Pun could do it. Lil Wayne could do it sometimes, but I don't think Lil Wayne realizes that the joke is on him. Like, we're laughing at him saying, I'm sick like C.Y. Phyllis. But yeah, I really think that Operation Doomsday is a dope album. I'm glad that I got to review it and glad I got to listen to it. I'm going to be listening to it a whole lot more during this week. But I have to say that Doom is a unique artist. He's an artist who challenges you, who makes you think very deeply about his lyrics, and you have to pay attention. You have to really be tuned in to catch everything he's saying. And I have to admit, Doom was actually my favorite Marvel villain. I've always loved Doom because he has like his own country. He's got like an army of people around him. He's a wizard. He went to hell and back. Like, Doom is a sick character to pick if you're really going to pick a villain to model your rap career after. But once again, I think the idea of making a villain as your presentation to the world and putting on a mask and that sort of stuff is brilliant. It's brilliant because in many ways, rappers are considered the villains of our society, and young black men are considered the villains of our society. And MF Doom is embracing that identity by putting on the mask and saying, yeah, I'm the evil one that you really want to make me out to be. Now listen to what I have to say. And that's why I think is the brilliance of him as an artist. So this was my review of Operation Doomsday 1999. Y'all let me know if you agree with it, where I got it right, where I got it wrong. Maybe I need to play the album back more times to really have it grow on me. Let me know what you think of the songs on here. And yeah, I'm going to be doing more album reviews. You guys can send requests for albums for me to review or talk about. Let me know in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, share this video. My name's Simon Hill, and peace.